Hello, everyone. Thank you for watching our marathon session today on this Valentine's Day, a day of love, and not just a day of romance, a day of self love, family love, day of just sending your love out into the universe to your fellow mankind, humankind, animal kind, just a day of having a good life. And so Jennifer is also Sheldon Stovall's wife. And so he was on our last sessions last month. And also Vivian Robinson is his aunt. So I feel like I have this whole family love really thing like going on today. And so Jennifer, I want to share the link to your book in the comments. And if you want to just describe the book and your inspiration behind your book.
Well, I was actually inspired in writing the book, and from my previous job, I seen some of the young ladies had actually went through some things, previous to what I went through in my book, The Loss of Innocence. With the molestation, looking for love in all the wrong places. So it kind of watching them and actually seeing, that I went through the same as, they're going through the same as I did. It inspired me to actually encourage them, and not just them, but other women to, what am I saying? That inspired me to write the book, to kind of help them, give them a guide, into coming into the women that I'm sure they would love to be.
Now, I think that's such an important thing that you're talking about right now, and so timely when we're looking at current events and you're looking at the Epstein victims and you're looking at this really just being highlighted in the forefront of it. You know, we we used to be very bad in society, especially where it was always the prince is going to come, someone's going to save you, and girls were very much taught that. And I think it didn't necessarily create the best environment and led to a lot of this. And now, like, what we're finally seeing is the girls are being much more empowered to say, like, no, this isn't right, like, I'm not going to let this happen. But there's so many people now that are just survivors of this. And so what is your message of love for the women out there who have gone through this?
I would say to definitely take your time. Don't settle. If you know that is not, the right situation for you, then it's okay to move on. It's okay to try again. You know, um, I was listening to one of the other authors. You don't want to just settle with somebody and you've seen the red flags and then you feel like, oh, that's your only option. No, keep trying, keep going on until, you feel, okay, God, I believe God sent me this person, and then settle for what you feel is best for you. Yes.
Yeah, and I think a message that one of our younger millennials brought up today that is important is, that the world is out of balance, right? There is really not somebody from everybody, even though people put that out there. There are more women than men on the planet. And
Mhm.
accepting being alone and being happy with you is such an important aspect as well. Is just saying, you know what, maybe this isn't my destiny. Maybe it's my destiny to do something else and to recognize that, when you look at somebody like, like Mother Teresa, who left such an incredible legacy, it's not always getting married and having children that's that legacy. So you mentioned a lot that you're working with younger women. What has been sort of the common themes of what you've been able to work with them?
um to actually, like, to love yourself, you know stop putting yourself down. You are beautiful in your own way. You are beautiful. To try to help them to not only love yourself, but you know um, carry yourself with respect. When I was working at my previous job, I seen, a lot of women, they weren't happy with who they were. They got the BBLs and they had so many things changed in their bodies, and it really doesn't take all that. It really doesn't. It just, you know, you have to start accepting yourself for who you are and who God has created you to be. So that's pretty much my message. There's a lot of females rushing to go on dates, rushing to marry,
Mm-hmm.
and I I I often encourage them, no, slow down, just relax, because that was me one day. That was me trying to rush. Oh, I want to have children. I want to get married. That was me in my 20s, in my early 30s, and um, now I say, it's beautiful, but that comes
Mm-hmm.
with responsibilities. It comes with knowing who you are in God so that you don't lose yourself. I don't know if I
Yeah,
went off,
and
but.
a real global message there. Last month we had a woman on from Nigeria,
Yes.
and she just very much came with very much that same message of that kind of, don't let these external people influence you into making these decisions. Like you were saying, like people literally changing their bodies to
Yeah.
try to please other people. So, as you wrote your book, what inspired you to go ahead and get started?
Well, like I was saying, watching the young ladies, and like I was saying, just seeing how I was when I was younger and then watching them go through it now. Um, it was just, I said, God, was telling me, okay, write about this, write about that. So it was definitely God inspired, to actually teach them how to become a virtuous woman. Because I was once before that broken woman becoming, uh, it's called from broken to becoming the making of a virtuous woman. Um, so that's pretty much my story. I was a broken little girl, and then as I grew in God, He, I ended up becoming a virtuous. It took years. It
Mm.
took me going through a lot of hurt and pain, disappointments, rejections. I mentioned in my book the loss of innocence, being, molested, date rape. I've been through a lot and stuff. So all those things I went through kind of molded me into the woman I am now.
It's very brave to share. I'm going to put a couple links into the chat for the audience. And 24 Authors in 12 Hours is an author helping author event. We do not charge for this event at all. And so if you do donate, if you do want to purchase any of our merchandise, we have cool little coffee mugs and things like this. This really helps to us to pay for the production. So we have to pay for the streaming, for the website, all those kinds of services. And the software that we use, what it does is it actually splits the feed so it can go to multiple places. And that's the kind of stuff that this pays for. So, it's really not to make a profit. It's really to share the books, to share the stories, and to inspire people out there who are thinking, like, I have this story, I want to share it, but I'm too afraid. I'm too afraid to write this
Yes.
down. I'm too afraid to put, pen to paper, hand to keyboard, or, even just talk to type, right? Like you have these wonderful tools. So what is your advice for somebody who has a story to be brave enough to share it, and how did they get started?
Well, I would say, definitely pray about it, because you don't want to just, share it to just, anybody that that's going to, maybe throw it back in your face. You want to pray about who will be the people that you would need to share it with. Um, but I would just say, like for me, if I didn't write about it, if I knew somebody need to hear it, I would still be open enough to share, okay, I went through this, I went through that. Um, I guess I guess God will let them know, like if they have the spirit of discernment, God will definitely let them know, okay, this person needs to hear this. This person needs encouragement right now, you know.
Yeah, and we had a author last month, Stacy Webb, and she wrote a book, and I think it's so important. is what do you do in a situation where, because of your family and situations that happen, you actually need to set those strong boundaries to the point of even having to cut off members of your family. And so, all these things are a form of like self-love. All of this is a way for people to say, you know what, like I've got to overcome this trauma. And especially if your family let this trauma happen to you or might have known. One of the things I want to do is highlight that my own books, if anybody is interested, are also available for free Kindle download. If you are not aware, Kindle has an app, so you don't need a Kindle. You can always just download the app to your browser and read Kindle books on your browser. And since they're free with no cost to download for the next 2 days, you can download these for free. And the thing is, all authors, they don't tell you this, their love language is reviews, and that's the way authors are able to get their books through the algorithms. Is the more reviews you have, the more that Amazon and Goodreads are going to go ahead and show those books. And you brought up a really, really good point about that, getting it to the audience, right? And that's where I think this part really connects, is you might not know that somebody needs to know this story, and that's the beauty of writing a book. How has your journey been from you had this concept and you said, I'm going to write it, to the journey of getting this book out there to the public to find that reader, that person you may not know, but the universe, God, whatever you believe in, is going to connect?
So pretty much how long it took me to write it.
Not just the writing, but how did you get it either to a publisher or through self-publishing? How did that journey work in your marketing and sharing, just like we're sharing today, right? I mean,
Yes.
the thing for authors is it is a journey to do that part. It's very different than the writing it, right? You write it and it could just stay on your computer and never go anywhere. So I think those next steps are always brave, and it's very different for every author's journey is unique.
Yes. Well, it took me about 10 years because like my Aunt Vivian said earlier, I never considered myself a writer. And I often question God, like, do you really want me to write? Because I don't consider myself a writer. And after about the fifth person that asked me about the book, I said, you know what? I said, Lord, if you want me to write this book, then I'll write it. But you'll have to put the right people in my life to do it. So I met up with a teacher from 20, 30 years ago at a hair store, and she helped me. We started meeting every Friday, and she helped me focus in what I was going to talk about and everything. And then when I met my husband, he helped me finish and self-publish the book. So it was a part of God's plan. So we can't say what we're not if God already said, no, you are.
And bringing those people into your life at the right time. You mentioned Sheldon, and I want to highlight for everybody is he's put in the comments, happy birthday, John. I did not realize it's your birthday and it's Valentine's Day. Like,
yes.
This is like a very special day for you.
Yes.
And you're taking that time out of your day to share with me and to share with the audience about this book. And what a testament to that love, that you're willing to take your time out of the day to share this. So what is the number one thing that you want a reader to take away when they read your book?
Well, I want them to know that they're not the only ones who were broken once before, and they're not going to be the last. But there's always a happy ending to a sad beginning. There's always a happy ending. And with God, all things are possible. With God, all things are possible. Yeah.
I think that's just really hits home and really kind of connects to some of the authors that we had today about that learning self-love, learning that we have to make ourselves vulnerable and to share that. So in our stories, we often have to share these kind of moments of tenderness and emotions. What parts of your book do you think really kind of express that part of of opening yourself up and making yourself vulnerable?
Um, I believe my book, The Loss of Innocence. I know we're talking about from broken to becoming,
No,
but
we can. It's your body of work, even future work. It is two authors just chatting about what makes it, what makes our journey, right?
yes. Well, from The Loss of Innocence. And what was your question again? It kind of slipped. My
I was
question
just
again?
talking about the emotional vulnerability of writing, and you started to talk about your first book, where a moment in there of I think emotional vulnerability
Yes.
to share.
Once I learned how to love myself and to think highly of myself, it was hard for me for a long time to do that. Seeing some of the things that happened to my siblings, I almost fell into, like before I went through, my when I started going through molestation. As I got older in life, I noticed that my older siblings had went through the same. And so once I really started um, seeing where my life was going, I said, no, this is not going to be my story. I'm going to learn to love myself. I'm going to get up and I'm going to do what I need to do to make my life better. So I went back to school, got my GED, went back, got my cosmetology certificate, my associates, all the way to bachelor's in social work. And I just, instead of falling into that trap, into being stuck in life, no, I pushed ahead. I said, this would not be my story. I pushed ahead and never knew I was going to be married one day. Um, it just took a lot. What I don't know. It just took a lot for me, but I finally got it. God always put like people in my life, destiny helpers, should I say, in my life
Mhm.
to get Jennifer back on track. And I'm here today. I'm here today and you know, as a witness that God can work out your life if you will let him. And I
Yeah.
probably went off subject again, but yeah.
No. I mean, this is a conversation, right? One of the authors earlier, I just thought it was like such a strong statement where he said, every experience that you have, like you're meant to have, right?
Yes.
And they make you who you are. And I think that sometimes we're kind of like, ooh, that was a bad experience.
Hmm.
So how then do you advise and help these young women that you're working with to take these bad experiences and become the next version of themselves that are able to accept that these things happened? To be
Never give up on yourself. If you made a mistake, okay, and if you keep making that mistake, eventually you'll wake up. You're like, okay, no, I can't keep doing this. I can't keep doing this. And then eventually you'll start, okay, I could do better than this. Let me get myself up. Let me um, start doing saying affirmations, every morning. Let me start, treating myself better. Let me apologize to myself. You know, yeah, let me apologize to myself. Let me start loving on myself. And so that, because people don't know, we teach people how to treat us. We teach how we treat ourselves. That's how we're teaching others how to treat us the same. So, yeah.
I love that line. Like, we teach people how to treat us. And I think that that's something that a lot of people need to learn and hear that message that you just shared is
Yes.
such an important thing. So writing's a journey and you have two books. So what is in the works next for you, Jennifer?
I'm working on one now, but I was also thinking of another one. Um, I'm definitely coming out with a fourth. Um, but this one, it seemed like it's taking some time to put it together. But yes, it's taking some time, but it's definitely in the works. And it's
Yeah, and that's normal, right? It's a process, it's a journey.
yes.
Yeah, one of the authors earlier we were talking about like we kind of like write a little bit and then like I don't know what to do with this and it just kind of goes into that virtual drawer and then eventually you pull it back out and go, okay, I'm ready to write on this some more, right? It's definitely a part of that. Right now, writing is that journey. And so, what chapter do you think you're in right now? And what makes it meaningful? What makes you grounded right now with where you are as Jennifer?
You mean the chapter in my life?
Yeah, the what chapter in your life? Where are you at?
Okay. I am. I'm at the chapter of okay. I can't. I'm sorry for the pause. I
Good
don't know.
questions should be compliment like in Japanese they actually have a word for it so that when you pause to think they call it eto, and so it's basically means like there's no direct translation but it means like I'm thinking, and like in a very long Japanese way it's sort of like I'm thinking and your question deserves for me to have some contemplation. And I love that kind of theory because I think US society, so often we feel like, oh, I've got to be on the spot. I've got to be on the spot. But I think that ability for us to say, you know what, I do want to ponder, I want to think
Yeah.
about this before I answer it because it's worth it because your life is it's the most important thing you have, right? And so
Yeah.
where am I right now? Like that is a deep question.
It is. I'm definitely going through the. I'm going through the flow of life. Like I'm trusting God with my life. Where I've always had control over everything. Control. Right now I'm learning how to just let go and let God guide me. Guide
So
me.
you're in a chapter where you're letting go and
Yes.
trusting the universe and trusting God and
Yeah.
trusting that these things are going to be there, this virtual safety net of life, the cosmic safety net of life.
Yeah, you go through in life we go through transitions and
Mm-hmm.
um I went through this chapter so now I'm like, okay, God, I'm giving this to you. I'm giving that. Um I'm moving forward with God, of course with my husband. We're just moving forward, just trusting the process, living in peace and seeing where God takes us.
That's
Yeah.
beautiful. Jennifer,
Yes.
it is your birthday. It is Valentine's Day. It is a day of love. I've seen so much love from people following you in the chat.
Yes.
I hope this story just really resonates with the people in the future who listen to it. Unfortunately, these everybody's like, what am I going to say for 30 minutes? And 30 minutes later, they're like, oh, it's already ending, right? So we are going to have to wrap it up and we're going to talk to our next author. Any last thing that you want to share with the audience before we call it a happy birthday, happy Valentine's Day for you?
Well, I would say today for Valentine's Day, just show love. You know, show love to your family, show love to your spouse. Um, if there's somebody that you're not talking to, still forgive them, move on, and show love to them as well. And y'all
Thank
have
you
a
so
blessed
much.
day. And thank you for your time. Thank you so
No, it
much.
was wonderful having you. And I know Sheldon kept saying, like, no, I need to get her out there. And so I can certainly see why. Thank you. And to your whole family. I just feel blessed that you all were able to come here. And as your new books come out, let me know. I would love to continue supporting you, sharing your stories and doing, future collaborations.
And I do have another book out there called Betrayed in the Carolinas, A Trip I'll Never Forget. And all
Ooh.
three of my books are on Amazon, Amazon.com.
I put your Facebook link in here so people can follow you on your author's page. Thank you again, Jennifer. Just so happy that we connected and had this time together.
Yes. And thank you for the opportunity to share.
Great.
All right. Thank you. Bye-bye.